Okay, that completes the consent agenda.
Yep.
Move forward to the public hearing. Sorry about that. Okay, the first item is the number 22, the budget amendment. It's the second reading. Mr. Rayson, would you please read the ordinance by title?
Thank you, Mayor. I should say that 22 through 26 are all on second and final reading. 22 is an ordinance of the Town of Davie, Florida, authorizing an amendment to the estimated revenues and appropriations for fiscal year 2018, providing for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date. Approved unanimously on first reading.
Thank you very much. What I'm going to do at this point, because we do have many people, this is the budget amendment that's looking for a transfer of monies to support our SRO program, the expansion of SRO program. And I know there are a number of people here, as well as adding some personnel for our fire department. So I want to listen very carefully. I have Mr. Lemack and Mr. Ackerman and anyone else who wants to join in. We have police and fire representatives to explain the budget amendment that we'll be voting on. And then if anyone wishes to speak to it, I'll allow you to do that at that time. Thank you. Mr. Lemack.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Good evening. Richard Lemack, Town Administrator. As you'll recall at our last meeting, just on February 21st, 2018, since that time, council, as well as staff, has continued to receive overwhelming number of requests for school resource officers, or SROs, and related public safety support at all our Davie public schools, resulting from the heartbreaking and tragic event at Marjorie Stoneham High School. To this end, we have prepared a budget amendment for your consideration for the remaining 5 months of fiscal year 2018. Just as a matter of introduction, for those who may not know, Davie has 12 public schools. We have 3 high school, 2 middle, and 7 elementary schools. Prior to this tragedy, there were 7 total SROs in these schools, 1 in each high school and middle school, and 2 SROs rotating and covering the 7 elementary schools. Since the tragedy, Chief Dunn allocated resources for additional officer coverage at our schools. This is being accomplished through overtime, staff reassignments, which are not going to be sustainable in the long term. I'd like to go ahead and share the budget slide with you and explain to you what we have in front of you for your consideration tonight. This budget amendment includes both fire and police initiatives. For the police, it includes 6 sworn positions to meet the requested demand of 1 SRO in each school and 2 at Weston High School, as well as supervisory support staff. For fire, this meets the need for a 3rd person on the rescue truck for each shift, covering the 12-hour peak demand at Station 38. And you'll recall we had that discussion just 2 meetings ago. The total cost for fiscal year 2018 is estimated at $754,000. The funding sources that would be applied are contingency, police impact fees, and law enforcement trust funds. And they, however, will not be available in 2019 when we talk about next year's budget. Should you approve this amendment, the goal is to initiate the filling of positions as of May 1st, 2018. And as you all have previously noted, that we will have to identify additional revenue, which staff will present to you for discussion at our annual Town Council Vision and Goal Setting session on April 13, 2018. If you have any questions, I'm here, as well as Chief Gonzalez and Chief Dunn and Mr. Ackerman. Thank you.
Just want to say that I thank you. This was something that we have all been seeking for a long time. I can remember when the county, the sheriff's office, pulled out their support for the Nova schools in McFadder, and Davie had to take that over. It really stretched us quite a bit, but we've always been seeking and trying to work with getting an expanded role from the school board to help us in funding a resource officer in every school. And I know we threw this at you at that last meeting, that also wanting to have a second officer at Western High School. Hopefully, we'll continue to work on getting the grants and the monies that have supposedly been set aside, both by the state legislature and hopefully some federal funds to assist us in this endeavor. But I want to thank you for working so quickly and diligently on this, and to thank the police department for stepping up to the plate and seeing that overtime and the people that, the staff, the officers who agreed to take on that duty as overtime. We certainly appreciate it. Susan?
Yeah, and I also want to thank you for that as well, because Chief Lynn, Chief Dunn, we've had nothing,
Hello.
look at me, whoops. We've had nothing but great praises about the resource officers at an immediate need in the schools, and how you all were there and they felt so much safer. I've had teachers, I've had students, I've had parents all tell us how important that was for them, and they felt very secure. The other thing, the item on here is the 3 men on the truck. And, on the Station 38, I think it's a great, and as opposed to 2. I think that's a good start as well, because, we've had conversations, all of us, with our fire department on how we could do that. And I think when it's a pretty busy station as well, it's something we definitely have to try out and see how we can work it in and how it will help with our service in that area as well. I've been very supportive of this issue, and I'm going to vote in favor of it.
I just wanted to add something to that, and I was commenting about it when I met with Mr. Lemack, having a third man, especially in 38, which is the closest to or woman, a third person on the equipment, that it in case of an emergency. This gives you an extra person that you're going to be doing triage, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff that, God forbid, we hope we never have to, but to be prepared for it. And that third person is essential to any emergency situation. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I can probably speak for most of us up here when we say that supporting this and for the parents to feel safe when you send your kids to school is got to be paramount. And with what's happened just since January here in the United States and here locally has really rocked me. And I know I've spoken with so many parents and how fearful you are when you drop your children off. But I can assure you, whatever it takes, this council, this mayor, that we will back what our leaders, what our police chief, Mr. Lemack, and our fire chief tell us that they need. We want to make sure that our children are safe. And Chief, I know you would ask for volunteers from SRT for our SWAT guys to go and volunteer at the schools, and you said almost every hand went up as a volunteer, and I want to thank all those guys. Makes me proud of you. I appreciate it, and I'm sure that all the parents, if they could thank you personally, that they will. Thank you. And again, you have the support of this council. I say that emphatically. Thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, I won't mention a name, but I had a local commissioner who has a kid at Western High make a comment. He's like, "You're paying for this protection for my kid, haha," and I live in a different community, won't mention it.
I know who.
And I said, well, it's the right thing to do. And I can tell you that since we had the second officer at Western High, I mean, I've been stressing to them that it was the action of the council together, but they've elevated me to hero status at Western High. I mean, they love having the second officer there, and I know how much it'll mean to the faculty, the parents, and the children to have an officer at the elementary schools. I think it's a very good thing for everybody. If anything, just to have the interaction with the students, getting used to seeing them and not being afraid of them, or, watching TV and seeing what happens. You know, it's a good thing. And I was also amazed with the fire proposal for 38. I had asked for that to come back actually for the goal-setting session in April, and here it is on our budget amendment today. A couple of meetings later, it's fantastic. I really like the idea. So I'm going to vote approve this, but I also have more homework for you on the fire side. I would like to ask for the goal setting, if you could provide us the numbers which would be needed for a overtime for 65, starting May 1st, 2019, and going for permanent for the following budget year. If we could accomplish that, since we're still massaging the numbers and everything, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Carol?
Thank you, Mayor. I totally agree with everything my fellow council members and the mayor said about the SROs. As a teacher, knowing that the SRO person was there, he has come and helped me quite a few when I spent time in the special needs school. And after the special ops training that I took like a couple months ago with the fire department, and seeing what the third man really means on a rescue truck, I'm all for it. It's really amazing the difference that it will make in a lot of our lives. Thank you.
Marlon, you want to say
I
something?
just wanted to make one more quick comment, Mayor. Recently, I ran into some of our police officers that had volunteered to work at the schools, and I thanked them, and their response back to me was pretty interesting. And they told me, they said, Marlon, when we walk on the school, we're like rock stars. They said the students love us, the teachers love us, the parents can't thank us enough. He said, it's good duty. He said, the kids are happy we're there. He said, I feel like a rock star walking on the campus. And he said, I love the kids, love being there. And I said, well, we love having you there. And he said, we take this very serious. And he said, we're there to watch our kids. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
So I think you have a good feeling for how we feel about this and the direction that we requested that we go in. And at this point, since this is an open public meeting, if anyone feels the need to speak at this point, you may certainly do so.
I'm sorry.
Just state your name and address, please.
My name is Stephanie Kellum. There you go. Okay. Stephanie Kellum. I live at 15831 Southwest 54th Place in Southwest Ranches, a.k.a. Davie. I have a 7-year-old son who is a student at Hawks Bluff Elementary. I also have a student at West Broward High School, which is in Pembroke Pines, but again, I still have that impact in my home of what happened at the high school level. I want to tell you on behalf of my children and my teachers and the staff at my school that having Officer DeMiller, who is our SSRO or our SRO, there has been a major factor of getting our kids through all of this. That he's there, he'll give them hugs if they're scared, he will give the parents hugs if we're scared. But to have an SSRO there all the time would be amazing. He's there morning and the afternoon helping, but having them there all the time would make a lot of difference. And I believe and I hope that the other cities in this county will take your lead and put one in every school. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mayor, you just ask them to fill out forms if they speak.
Yeah, if you're speaking, you need to fill out a form right up here.
My name is Joseph Piccolo, president of Local 2315, Davie Professional Firefighters. Good evening, Mayor Paul, Vice Mayor Koleka, Council Members Hatton, Starkey, and Lewis, Town Administrator Lamack, all department heads and staff, and last but not least, to the great residents of Davie. Without all your support, we cannot do what we do. I represent the 165 firefighter paramedics that would work for the town of Davie. We serve and protect this exceptional community with great pride. I come to you today with my brothers wearing red shirts in support of this item. It's a great start on the road to providing better emergency care. we will save more lives and property along with decreasing the risk of injury our firefighter paramedics face doing what most of us feel is not just a job, but a calling. Thank you to our Fire Chief, Julie Downey, for your leadership and forward thinking. You have made tremendous strides to improve our organization, and we are better for it today. Thank you, Council Members Kaleka and Hatton, coming to Fire Ops 101 on your own time and participating in the demonstrations, which provided proof firsthand just what a difference one person can make in our crews. That one person provides the extra hands we need to provide advanced life support procedures more quickly and efficiently, and to ensure emergency scene operations are completed in a much safer fashion. As we all know, minutes and even seconds can make all the difference in an emergency. I am confident that this increase will save lives and prevent injuries, which is of the utmost importance to all of us. We know that along with our residents, many non-residents and industry personnel travel through our town daily. This, coupled with the rapid growth and development of many areas of Davie, equate to an almost certain increase in emergency call volume, and even more of a reason this measure will better equip us to do our job at hand more efficiently and safely. In addition, Davie has a vast educational complex ranging from elementary schools, public and private, to full college university campuses. In light of the tragic events recently in Parkland, it has become increasingly necessary to make sure that we are as prepared as possible in the event of a tragic incident like that occurs and threatens our students and children. This measure will help. We believe we do it better here in Davie in many aspects, and we look forward to a future where we continue to improve by joining a majority of Broward County's emergency agencies who staff their rescues with 3 persons as a standard of care. We have been doing more with less for many years now, and our residents deserve the best. We hope none of you ever need our services, but if you do, we want nothing more than to provide the best care we can. This will help us in doing so. Stay safe, and thank you for your support.
Thank you, Jim.
Marlon, a point of personal privilege. The cops are lucky that we're not at the school at the same time, because then we'd be the rock stars, but
I understand that. I love you guys. God bless you.